We're at about the halfway point of Giants training camp, and there is one UDFA wide receiver that is standing out and making the case that he should be a part of the 53-man roster for the New York Giants. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. That UDFA wide receiver, Beaux Collins. Beaux Collins has been making plays, and he's now also getting reps with the first-team offense due to him making plays, but also due to some injuries the Giants have at the wide receiver position. We know that Malik Neighbors left practice on Tuesday with a shoulder injury. Nobody seems too worried about that. He's going to be fine. Maybe misses a couple days of practice. Maybe misses the first preseason game, but he'll be ready to rock and roll week 1 against the Washington Commanders. Jalen Hyatt has not practiced since the first training camp practice that he had to leave midway. Wan'Dale Robinson has missed the last couple of days. So there has been a need for a wide receiver to step up, and Beaux Collins, he's doing it. This is a guy that he had some production in college as well. 41 grabs, 490 yards, and 3 touchdowns last year for Notre Dame. And he's got good size at 6'3" plus and nearly 200 pounds. So he is built like a professional wide receiver. And you can kind of see why he's making plays. And I think there's a world where he could find his way on this 53-man roster. It's one thing to make plays as UDFA wide receiver. It's another thing to have a 10-time Pro Bowl, Super Bowl champion quarterback say nice things about you when he hasn't even really thrown the ball to you all that much. Russell Wilson, unprompted, nobody asked him about Beaux Collins, says, I think guys like Collins have really shown some unbelievable growth. When the starting quarterback calls you out by name, unprompted, that means something. And we've mainly seen Beaux Collins work with Jackson Dart. We haven't really seen him work all that much until recently due to injuries with the first-team offense. Bobby Skinner of the Giants Nation show, go show him and his show some love, crushing it, one of the best follows on Giants YouTube, says that Beaux Collins has 5 catches from Jackson Dart through 6 practices so far. So him and Dart building a chemistry and a continuity, getting on that same page. But it's Russell Wilson who is noticing that. Because I can promise you this, Russ isn't just watching the reps that he does at practice. He's watching all the reps when he goes back on tape. But it's not just Russ. Art Stapleton, who's covered the Giants for a long, long time, tweeting this out. Beaux Collins had the best practice of any Giant today. He ran mostly with the first team and was a fierce blocker in the run game. Several times, the offensive sideline exploded with cheers in his direction. Great start to camp for the undrafted rookie wide receiver from Notre Dame. That was tweeted on July 29th, so Tuesday. Then the Giants insider, who's covered the Giants for a long time, saying 6 practices in, and the best UDFA wide receiver has been Beaux Collins. So people are noticing. People are seeing what he's doing. And people are realizing that there might be some juice here. Back on July 27th, Bobby Skinner, who was at Giants training camp, took this video, and you could see, as I have it paused, Beaux Collins making the catch on the sideline on a kind of a back shoulder pass from Jackson Dart, saying Beaux Collins had a nice day. So Collins had a nice day on the 27th, and he was the best Giant at practice on the 29th. So that's 2 times so far through training camp he's made some plays. And I just love this tweet from Carl Banks. Shout out to Carl. Leak, the leader, Malik Neighbors. Wide receiver Beaux Collins catches a deep ball in a foot race to the end zone. He then stepped out at the half-yard line. Malik Neighbors sprinted off the sidelines and yelled at Beaux Collins, "Bro, score the touchdown." So even Malik Neighbors is seeing what Beaux Collins is doing, wants a little bit more, saying, bro, don't be weird and go out of bounds at the half-yard line. Get in the end zone. And I think that means something. And then on the 25th of July, Emory Hunt, who works for CBS Sports, saying 2 UDFA receivers here at Giants camp that have stood out all 3 days. Jordan Bly and Beaux Collins. Collins has been someone Russell Wilson mentioned unprompted 2 days ago. And then on July 24th, the Giants report saying Beaux Collins also getting a rep with the first team offense. So on the 24th, the 25th, the 27th, and the 29th, Beaux Collins has been making plays and doing well enough for people to notice who he is and what he's doing. And I think there's a chance that we could be talking about him playing for the Giants in October. Like, we know Malik Neighbors is going to make the team. You know Wan'Dale Robinson's going to make the team. And you know Darius Slayton's going to make the team. I'm 99% sure Jalen Hyatt will make the team. So you got 4 guys written in Sharpie making this team. Giants will probably keep 6. You need one of those guys to probably be your kick returner and punt returner. I'll pencil in Amir Smith-Marset into that role. That's 5. And that 6th spot is up for grabs between Beaux Collins, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Zach Pascal, Montreal Washington, Gunnar Olszewski, Daquan Felton, Dalen Cambry, and Jordan Bly. And it sounds like Beaux Collins is winning that race at this spot. There's a wide receiver spot up for grabs. And that's the best thing about training camp. I was listening, and if you haven't listened, go to my Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I reposted a video of Tom Coughlin talking to the team on Tuesday. And he was like, there's a couple things you got to have at training camp. It's got to be hot. So you got to turn the heat up. And 2, there's got to be competition. Because competition brings the best out of everybody. And I love that there is an open competition right now in that wide receiver room for potentially that final spot. So that's good stuff there. Whenever we talk UDFAs, I like to go back and look at my draft notes. And I like to go look at Dane Bruglar, the head draft guy at The Athletic, and what he had to say. He wrote this about Beaux Collins. Carrington Beaux Collins, the youngest of 3 children, grew up with his parents, DeAndre and April. His father played linebacker at New Mexico State and later became a coach. Collins prepped at St. John Bosco and had a standout junior season with 41 catches for 1,008 yards, 24.6 yards per catch, and 14 touchdowns, leading the team to a 13-1 record and state title. A 4-star recruit, he was the 3rd-ranked receiver in California behind Troy Franklin and Xavier Worthy, and followed his high school quarterback, DJU, to Clemson. After 3 years, he transferred to Notre Dame for his senior year and helped the Irish to the national title game. A loose, limber athlete, Collins can alter his pacing mid-route and flashes a second gear to run under the deep ball. However, while the separation tools are there, the execution is lacking. He has the body control to make back shoulder grabs look routine, but focus drops were an issue. Overall, Collins doesn't have the tape or production of a playmaker, but he has draftable traits. That might be enough for a team to believe in his potential. And I reached out to a couple of my friends who are friends of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And I was like, yo, what's the deal with Beaux Collins? He was like, he was always open. We just didn't have a quarterback that can get him the ball. We were running a power offense, power run scheme with our quarterback. So that was encouraging. And he tested well throughout the pre-draft process. His relative athletic score on a scale of 1 to 10, that puts a number score to a pre-draft process for every player that is tested. Beaux Collins was in the 90th percentile of the athletic score. He's got good size at nearly 6'3", 201 pounds. Great vertical jump. Great broad jump. 40-yard dash, 4.54, not the best, but his 20-yard split was awesome. His first 20 yards graded out in the 87th percentile. So he's got the size. He's got the athleticism. 4 years in college. First 3 years were at Clemson, and he transferred to Notre Dame this past year. And none of these stats are crazy. They're just all what they are. 30 grabs, 400-plus yards, and a handful of touchdowns. But there's something to say for a player that's got the size, the athleticism, body control, big playability that goes to the NFL and takes another step in their development as a player. And I think that could be Beaux Collins. And he's doing enough to turn heads of beat reporters, content creators, Hall of Fame quarterbacks, which Russell Wilson will be, and potentially the New York Giants. Got a couple more thoughts on this topic, but I want you to take advantage of this deal. Chatsports.com/Giants sale. Chatsports.com/Giants sale. You get this New York Giants Nike t-shirt for 50% off. The deal will not last forever, so take advantage of it today. Another UDFA wide receiver that I think is standing out is Dane Cambry out of Louisiana. He plays out of the slot. He gets open. We've heard Jackson Dart bring him up. He was on the Kay Adams show, I believe, and he was asked about a couple of players that have stood out to him, and he mentioned Dane Cambry, just a guy that goes about his business, does what he has to do, and he gets open. Special team standout in college. I think he was like top 5 in the country in tackles and special teams, and he can play the slot, and the Giants are thin at that slot receiver position. Giants are a little thin at the wide receiver spot in general, and I'm a little worried about the wide receiver room. I've only been saying on this show for 3 months the Giants needed to add another wide receiver, and they haven't. Sorry, little Jordan Humphrey and Zach Pascal don't move the needle. Like, there's already injuries to Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt and Malik Neighbors. I don't know if they'll sign another guy. Maybe Beaux Collins could be the player that makes you not want to sign somebody, but you're going to need someone to step up. And an undrafted free agent wide receiver emerging would be huge. Not even asking for Beaux Collins or any of these guys to be major contributors, but when your number's called, get open, catch the football, get yak if you can, and hold on to the rock. A little worried, but I think it's a good thing that a guy like Beaux Collins is turning some heads, and as is Dane Cambry. Shout out to y'all for tuning in. If you haven't yet, give me a follow on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram @MarshallGreen_.